Hi all, welcome back. Microsoft Excel has always been the go-to tool for basic analysis. With this Power Pivot feature, Microsoft has taken analysis in MS Excel to the next level. In this video, we are going to unveil this hidden feature. Yes, it is a hidden feature for years in Microsoft Excel. So we are going to explore around this hidden feature and see how we can use it to do some very powerful analysis. Let's have a look at the case and the dataset available with us. We have following datasets. Number one, in MS Access, we have sales transaction register in which we have all the sales transaction for last calendar year. Now in this dataset we have following fields: date, customer category, product category, country, sale price, and units sold. Number two, we have in MS Excel overhead cost per unit for a country and product combination. And number three, we have manufacturing cost per unit for all the product categories in rough form. Now what we want to achieve is we want to analyze customer segment wise, product category wise profitability for each country or group of country as we want to select. Also we want to have a timeline option where we can go through quarters or months and compare. Link to these files are given in the description. You can download and practice alongside with me if you want. The first step is to enable the Power Pivot option in your ribbon in MS Excel, and there are few ways, but I'm going to tell you the most easy method. All you have to do is just right click on the ribbon of your MS Excel on the empty area, and you will see couple of options. One of them is customize the ribbon. You just click on the customize the ribbon and there will be a list of tab headers which is there. Now you will find there is an option is Power Pivot, which is unticked by default. All you have to do is tick on the box in front of it and just click OK, and congratulations, Power Pivot option has been enabled in your MS Excel. Now when you click on this Power Pivot tab, you will see there are 5-6 options in 4 categories. Now the first category is data model, in which we have the option is manage. In second category is calculation, we have measures and KPI. In third category we have add to data model, and in fourth category, which is relationship, we have detect if any relationship exists. There is an option for setting as well. So we will, during this exercise, we will explore around all these options. The first step to analyze the data is to get the data at one place, and to do that we have to click on this Power Pivot tab and then on the Manage tab, and another screen open up. And if you see, there is an option to import data from various sources, and there are 3-4 options. Now we will click on the get database and you will see the MS Access option there, right? So just click on that MS Access option and a window open up. Now you have to browse the file from which you want to take the data. So we will just click on the browse button and we will navigate through the sales data file. Just click on that file, then next, and you will see the name of the tables available in that particular MS Access. So we have only one table as sales data, and you can also preview the data how it will be going to look, and column headers and how it is structured. So preview is good, and we'll click the next, and you will see the data has started exporting, and we have this file now in our pivot for analysis. Now this has make a live connection between this Excel and that file. Similarly, we will import data for overhead cost from Excel file into this file. Now we have to click on the import database from other sources, and we will find an option for Excel there. And you just browse through the file you want to import, and next, and you will see is the various tabs in that Excel are shown as different tables here. So you have to select the right tab of that sheet. So click, and then if you see the preview there, you will see the country's name, the product's names are coming as a field and not as a header. So you have to go back and tick that option which was there earlier, that first row is column header, and then next and import. So your data from that Excel is imported as well, and you can see now we have two tables here and two tabs, two different windows. And you can rename this tab just by double clicking, and we will rename this. Now with respect to manufacturing cost, we have it in rough format. So I just close this window and I will just type the same in my current workbook. So I have typed this, and now I can also add this data which is in this Excel worksheet itself to this entire model we are building. So just select this particular area and click on the Power Pivot option, and you will see the fourth option is to add to data model. Now just click on that, and you will see another table has been created in our model. So we will rename it as well. So now we have entire data at one place, and we can do the analysis we want to do. Also, just below the ribbon you can see a formula bar kind of area, and yes, it is a formula bar, but here we can write formula in text language, which is data analysis expression. This language is also used in Power BI and various other places, and I will be talking in depth about this language in another video. Here I will be using very simple expressions which should not be very difficult for you to understand. We can add columns to this model here just by writing the formula. So in add column, we will go on the rightmost side empty column and just click equals to, and then we will select the first column in sales price, and then into, and then first column in unit source, and enter, and you see the formula is itself dragged to the entire table. Now we have the revenue here, but we want to have the cost as well to just calculate the profit. So for calculating profit, we need manufacturing and overhead cost right here, and for that we will use DAX and to add columns. So just you go to the rightmost column now and click equals to, and we will go for a lookup formula which is very simple. So type lookup value and you will see it is given there. So in this formula the fields are shown to you, I mean arguments which are required are there, you can see those. So I mean first you need the return column. So you just have to start typing the table name and then the column name. I mean by the time you start typing the name, it will already suggest. So just start type manufacturing cost, and you will see it is showing two columns in manufacturing, 2 or 3 columns in manufacturing cost. One is product and product name, and second is manufacturing cost per unit. So we will select manufacturing cost per unit in manufacturing cost table, comma. Then second expression it is asking for is the lookup column, and which is product's name in manufacturing cost table. So we will select that. And third, it is asking where you want to compare it from. So if we want to compare it with product name in this table, sales sale column table. So we select that and enter. So we have this manufacturing cost per unit here. Now similarly we want to look up for the overhead cost, but one challenge is it does not have unique country names or product name, so we will have to look for the combination. So first we will have to make a key so that we can look up for that value. So we will, in the add column, we will just make a combo of equals to country's name and cosign and product's name. So we have this combo. I mean, it is as easy as it is in Excel. Similarly, we will have the same combo in overhead cost table as well. So once we have this combo, we will similarly apply the lookup value formula, and here we have got the overhead cost per unit. Now basis on these manufacturing cost per unit and overhead cost per unit, we can calculate COGS. So we will calculate in the next column COGS, which is sum of these into the number of units sold. So now we have sale price and we have cost of goods sold. So now we are all set to calculate the profit, and this profit we will calculate through measure. Now there is calculation area, as I said, down the table, and you click there on in any cell and start typing equals to and calculate, then in brackets type sum and sum of, we want sum of sales value. So we just start typing, table name, and then the columns name, it is already suggesting there, so we select that, minus sum of the COGS, cost of goods sold, and bracket close, enter, and you say the name of this whatever we calculated is given as measure 1, so it is a measure. Now we can change the name of this measure as profit, so double click again and just on the left side of equals to you can type profit. So we have this measure called profit. Now once we have calculated the profit, now we would like to create the pivot table, and so for that just close this window of data model and come to the basic Excel spreadsheet, and let's insert a pivot table. And you see there are always you see these three options for Excel, but we ignore this particular option, which is it already active, that is pivot table through data model, existing data model in this spreadsheet. So we will click on that and OK. Now if you see the field view of this table, it is different from normal pivot table. I mean, here you can see the three tables name which we have built in our data model. So you can see once we expand the table name, we can see the columns name of each table. So now you can have multiple tables for one pivot table here. So here we will just drag the profit in values, segment in rows, and product type in column, and we have that segment wise, product wise profitability. And for countries we will create a slicer, and for that, now when you click on the pivot table, you will see there is an option for extra options for analysis and design, and we go for the analysis and we see there is an option of insert slicer. So when once you click on the insert slicer, you will see various options, and you have to select the country's name, and see there is a list of countries which is there, and you can click on any country and the data will show, this pivot table will be shown for that particular country only. Also you can select multiple countries, or just by there is a deselect button you can enable, and then you can deselect any of the countries. Also we want there is another option of timeline just besides the slicer, so we will use that option as well. So just go again on the analysis and just click on the timeline, and you're seeing there is a date option, and there is only one date field in this entire data model, which is serial stat date. So just click on that and you will see this bar for the dates month wise is now active, and you can click on any month and it will show the data for that month. You can go on the right side and select quarters or years or days. So now this pivot table is just showing the numbers, but what about we want to show see some more insight? What about profit margins, and what about whether they are good or bad? So I would like to add a KPI to this pivot table. To create a KPI, you just click outside the pivot table, go to the power pivot option and select the KPI option, new KPI, and now you will see it is showing profit as the only option to create a KPI. So only measures can be converted into KPIs, and for that now I want to write another measure of profit margin. So I will close the KPI window and just click on the measure option, and there are two options. If you click on the manage measures, you will see it is showing profit which you can add it. I will close this and I will go to the new measure. So new measure, here this is a full to window where you can type the formula for measure. One way we have done through clicking that calculation area. Another way of writing a measure is through this window. Now here you can check it at the same time as well whether you are writing this correct formula or not. So for margin, we have to divide the profit by the sale value, but one disadvantage of DAX is you cannot use another measure in writing another measure's formula. So we cannot use profit as it is here, so we have to rewrite the formula for profit. So equals to calculate and sales value minus COGS and overall bracket, and then we will divide it by sales value. So that we will do, and we will check the formula. Now it is showing some error and we have to correct it. So this calculated has to be on the overall basis and division has to be within the bracket. So we will just do correct the same, and you see now no error in formula it is showing, and enter. Now we have another measure as margin. So you just go to the measures and you see manage option. There are two, profit and margin. I just close this. We will go to the KPI and we will say new KPI, and here now we have two options, one is profit and one is margin. We will select margin, and in margin it is showing as the goal value, and you can set, we are going to select, there are various options how you want your KPI to be presented. We will use this three light system, red, yellow, green, and we can also define the values for these categories, and I will just type those 0.8% to be below 0.8 to be red, and from 8% to 0.22% to be yellow, and above 22% to be green. So just we can define it as the case we want to be, and just click OK. And now we have the KPI. You just go to the field view of the pivot table and you can see there is this light system in KPI. You just click it and three options open up. One is for margin itself, it is the value, and second is status, and third is goal. So goal is what target we have set to be achieved, so that is 0.3 or 30% which we have written there, and we will just drag the status down in the value, and you see there are these lights in between for all the products and segments. So it is suggesting that whether profit margin for this product and customer category is red, that is below 8%, or in the yellow zone, that is a okay zone, or in the green zone, which is our favorite zone. So now we have a pivot table with some values, with some indicating lights, slicer and timeline. We can also add pivot charts to this table to make it more presentable. While being on the table, you have to go to the insert and pivot charts. Being on the table is important, because if you are not on the table, then it will create a altogether new chart on which slicer and timeline won't work. So just be on the table and then go to this chart, and we can create in chart as we require. So I just created these two charts. In this video, we have seen the basics of Power Pivot. In the coming videos, I will be coming up with a more complex example to explore around various other features such as relationship between various tables. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you.